What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Sweat It Out podcast.
If you want to be successful, look inside.
We don't like sitting in the discomfort.
Then all of a sudden that day came when I got $20 and 2 free drinks to do a show, and I was like, oh shit, here we go, baby. You know?
Thank God she hasn't caught a chicken yet, because she'll tear her head off.
Don't be soft.
That patience is key.
If all my friends are winning, then it's going to make me want to win more.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Sweat It Out podcast. Today we have a very special guest. He's a tremendous entrepreneur. You've probably seen him all over social media. He's definitely one of my favorite go-to guys to learn from. Tremendous author, wrote the book Built to Serve. He has 2.6 million YouTube subscribers. He's been featured on Forbes Top 40 Social Marketers and on Inc. Top 100 Leadership Speakers. Guys, please help us welcome the one and only Evan Carmichael. What's up, brother?
Let's go. I'm ready to sweat it out. I'm excited. Woo! Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, we're pumped. We've been really looking forward to this. You got an amazing setup back there, man. We got to up our game a little bit by the looks of it.
Listen, I like all the little things you got going. The little tchotchkes on the desk. That's nice. It has personality.
Gotta have it. So how you been, man? How you been? Where are you located?
Toronto, Canada.
There you go.
There we go. How's that over there right now?
Decent. We're in another lockdown, but making content, man. Making content. There's no slowing down this train. Let's go.
Like I said, if we had a room like that, I'd definitely be motivated. Extra motivated.
So, you can make it. You can make it.
We're coming. So, brother, let me ask you, now that we mentioned about, you being in another lockdown and you're saying creating content, how has that shifted for you as an entrepreneur and diving into more the content game? What are some of the things you were doing before that now you're doing different?
I'm just doing a lot more. I mean, I was doing a lot of speaking. 2019 was my greatest speaking year of all time. I'm being, flown around to different places speaking. And 2020 was set to be another crazy year. And then poof, went to zero. So great. When that happens, you find another way. So now I'm at home. I can't travel. Great. I'm making content. Let's go. Doing shows like this a lot more. Launched a couple more YouTube channels, partnering with my friend to launch more content, just nonstop content.
And I love how you said more, right? And I was actually having a conversation with one of my friends who is trying to get more in the online fitness realm. I mean, we're in fitness, so he's trying to get in more on the online fitness realm and get out of the one-on-one thing. And he's like, I need a videographer, and I need this, and I need that, and I need better content. I'm like, no, you need more content, man. You aren't posting enough. You're not getting enough of your own knowledge base out there. What is it that makes you realize or made you realize that it's not necessarily about, obviously quality matters, but it's about getting more content out there to the people? What made you realize that it's more about the quantity that you're getting out to people and then following that up with quality as well?
I think it depends on the niche that you're in. So if you're in thought leadership, which is what I'm in, and maybe what your friend is in, where you're teaching people things, it's your expertise. Your job as a thought leader is to teach people to think the way you think. Even in you guys having this podcast, you guys are weird ducks. You see the world differently than other people. You ask different questions than other people, and your job is to bring on guests who you're going to pull out their story in a different way that's never been done before, that will hopefully inspire your listeners, your audience. You're teaching people to think like you think. So in that context, the production quality, when we think of quality in terms of a video, most people go to production quality. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. The production quality in a thought leadership video is more about quality of thought. That's what really matters. So even at the start of the show, you guys are jacked about my background. Awesome. It doesn't matter. Like, the background is not, if I suck on camera, the background doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference, right? So with your friend, he's just procrastinating. He's just afraid. Yep. It's like, oh, my gym is closed, so I can't go do workouts. You got arms? Can you do push-ups? Like, let's go.
I love that.
That's right.
I love that. So how do you, when people come to you, because I'm sure you get this question all the time, right? How do you help people get over that hump of understanding that, you are just procrastinating? It's not about the quality, or it's not about necessarily the production quality, but about the quality of what's coming out of your mouth.
One is just bringing that to the awareness, because that's not what they're thinking. And once you say that, it's like, okay, it's actually true. Like nobody subscribed to my channel because of the music or because how entertaining I am, you know, or like, and listen, it's not that you totally disrespect it. As you guys had your intro, you had that funky song, and I'm bouncing a little bit as the song is on. Like I'm digging it, but nobody's coming to this channel for the music, right? It's a nice add-on, but if your questions suck and your guests suck, it doesn't matter. The music's not going to save you. And that makes sense. You know, that if you have that conversation with people, like, okay, you know what? You're right. The lower thirds and the B-roll is not going to be the thing that will save your content if you suck. It doesn't mean disrespect it, but what's going to help get you to the point of where you can hire people? Because at the beginning, it's all you, right? I mean, two of you, right? At the beginning, it's you doing all the work. And so here's the mistake that most people make when they're making a video podcast. You spend 20 minutes recording the thing and then 5 hours editing the thing. Unless your ambitions are to be a world-class editor, you're training the wrong skill. You're teaching yourself how to be an editor instead of how to be great on camera, how to be great doing an interview. It should be the reverse. You should be training yourself so that you don't even need to have an editor, that you're so good that you don't need editing. Because when you go on stage, you can't say, oh, sorry, let me start over again. And when you're doing some big interview, you can't start over again. You're training yourself to only perform when you have it perfectly edited. And that's not a great skill to develop. So instead, we want to flip it. And by you putting out more content with your weird duck brain to help teach people how you think, that actually gets you to the point where you can monetize, where you can bring on a team, where you can start building your following and build the business off of it. So it's not disrespecting editing forever. I've got 30 people on my team. I you know, without them, I'm barely doing stuff. But if it was just me, I had no team, I'm starting over, I'm pulling out my phone and I'm recording videos. I still record videos from my cell phone, guys. We got almost 3 million subscribers. I'll still film videos from my cell phone.
Yep.
Because for thought leadership, the production quality is not the thing that carries the day.
I love that you brought that up because, first of all, I do think it's important to hone in onto your strength, right? And then understand when you have to delegate the other areas for you to be able to pour more into your strength. For an individual who is starting, is growing in the process, moving the needle, how do you have a good understanding of it's time for me to start hiring and putting a team together? And as a content creator, as a thought leader, when do you kind of have an idea of like, okay, this is the time and these are the first people that I should put in place before anybody else?
I think that really just depends on your risk tolerance. So for me, I'm actually pretty risk adverse. I like hiring people when I'm making money. So I hate spending money till I'm making money. I would invest my time, my energy, my hustle, my heart, my drive, but I would do it myself until I could make some money or get sick of it and move on and it's not the thing. To just start. Like if you're thinking of starting a podcast, great, start a podcast. Like before you worry about hiring a team and what fancy microphone you're going to use, like the greatest podcast start of all time should be, I'm thinking of starting a podcast. Great. Pull out your phone and make your first podcast. Talking to the phone. That's episode 1. Great. Did you like it? Was it fun? Awesome. Get a little bit better for the next time, where people sit and procrastinate on things because they'll look at your setup or my setup and say, well, until I get those fancy microphones, I can't do anything. So I just like starting on things. Same thing with fitness. People say, well, I need to get fit. Okay. Well, I can't do that until which diet am I going to pick? Is it going to be keto or paleo or carnivore or
you look at my post today? Cause right? I just posted that today.
Let me look at all the different plans and then slowly, maybe in 5 years I'll have a decision. Am I working on body weight exercises or cardio and resistance training? How much do I split up, right? And you spend so much time thinking about that stuff instead of actually doing it, where if you want to get started on a workout plan, best thing to do is drop down and give me 20, like today, or give me 4, because that's all you can do, right? Like momentum is the biggest thing that most people are missing. Yeah, we're so worried about who we're going to hire in what order. Meanwhile, you haven't done anything yet, right? So just get started.
Right. And we talk about it all the time on the podcast, right? It's like comparing yourself to someone else's position in their own journey, right? And thinking that you need to be doing that stuff. So even with us, right? If we try to compare ourselves to you have 30 people working on just, your editing team. We have 1. If we compared ourselves to where you're at, man, we're really fucking up here. We're not, we're not doing what we need to be doing. But that's not necessarily the case, right? Like it's not necessarily the best thing to like look over your shoulder and see what everyone else is doing and then expect yourself to be at the exact same pace or spot in the journey as they're at right in that moment, right? And I think when people do look over their shoulder, when they do look at other people, they start to see things look a lot more complex than they really are, right? Oh my God, I need all of these other components, when just like you're saying, all you need to do is grab your phone, right? And just start recording, start talking into it. And you can start a podcast. I mean, I remember our first, 25 episodes of the podcast. We're at over 150 now. We're all audio. We didn't have the studio beforehand, but if we had hesitated, I don't think we would have been able to bring on people like yourself at this point in the podcast. I don't think we would have, be the interviewers we are today if it weren't for that. So I couldn't agree with you more that, a lot of times you just have to get started and forget about the rest, right? The rest will come as you roll along.
Yeah, I think comparison's a tricky game. I think people use it to say and prove to themselves how much they suck. Well, here's Evan Carmichael with all his team, or here's Joe Rogan and what a great podcast or an interview he is, or here's Arnold and how great he looks. And we use that as, well, I'm not good enough. I like to use it as inspiration of what's possible, because maybe you guys were thinking, and I don't know, I'm just an example. Maybe you guys are thinking, okay, like, you know what, we can scale this and we can have maybe next year we have 2 editors, but maybe in me saying I've got a team of 30, maybe we're thinking too small. Like maybe this is bigger. Like why can't we have 25 people working for us next year? Like use it as inspiration instead of making you feel like you suck. I think you need a kick. Like I think if you eliminate comparison, you get rid of the kick. I think the difference is most people kick themselves down to say, I can't do it. Or what you need is a kick forward. Like if we were hanging out constantly, I guarantee you guys would be making a heck of a lot more content, and I would be working out a heck of a lot more. Right? Like when you're around people who are doing it, whoever's more confident in the thing wins, and you pull other people in your direction. And so I think having the comparison is fantastic. I think it's needed. I think that can make you do things that you never thought were possible. Just make sure it's a kick forward, not a kick down.
So how do you get people to unmarry the bad way of looking at comparison, and then use instead of looking at it as a downer? How can you marry a new way of looking at it to view it as fuel for the process and the system?
Just a conversation, just like that. Like people are saying, if somebody's comparing themselves to me, to say, hey, well, I mean, we've only got 1 editor. I don't know how we get to 30 people. Other people are looking at you and saying, you have an editor, man, we got nothing. We're just getting started. You share your story. And then I think the greatest thing is to actually help them build momentum. I had a woman who joined me on an Instagram live. She said, Evan, I want to start a podcast. I don't know how to start a podcast. I'm thinking about a podcast. Like, how long have you been thinking about this? I don't know, 6 months. 6 months. Okay, great. This is your podcast. Welcome aboard. Introduce yourself and ask me questions. This is episode 1. Save the IG live and you're set to go. Ooh. Like right now? Yeah. What are we waiting on? Why'd you come here? You want me to let you off the hook and tell you to do something in 6 years? Like, let's go. So I think the greatest thing you can do when you're actually dealing with somebody, we're talking to an audience here, but when you've got somebody in front of you, the greatest thing you can do is not just give them energy, because you guys are energy, you're giving your energy, and then they feel motivated and ready to go. But then the next day they wake up and that energy is like at 20%, and then the next day it's gone. So the greatest thing you can do is while you're giving them the energy, what's the first step? What's the first action? Drop down and give me 20. Record your first podcast. Like whatever the thing is that they need to do, you do it with them, and you help them realize that the first step isn't as big as they thought it was. Mm. And that they started building momentum, because that's the most important thing.
Love that.
Yeah, it's so true too. Because I mean, even we're on the podcast topic. When we were starting ours, I remember like, oh man, we're gonna record 2 every week. Like, how are we gonna handle that? Like, I don't even know. It's gonna be impossible. It's gonna be so stressful. And it kind of was at first. And then we settled in. We went up to three a week for a little while there, and that was a little crazy. We started coming into the studio. That was a big adjustment for us, but. It's just that, right? An adjustment. It just takes a little bit of time to get over that hump of like, okay, this is now part of my routine, and then you can roll with it. And I think, to your point, once people start to really incorporate things, whether it be, content creating, whether it be even planning for content, recording a podcast, training, right, working out, getting it to be part of your daily routine or weekly routine is extremely important, and something that I think that everyone should focus on more than, the actual hurdle that they feel they need to get over.
And I mean, I love it. And I think this is where also knowing what's possible, what other people have done, can be that source of inspiration. Because for you guys, you might be thinking, oh my God, like 3 times a week is impossible. And let's slowly work up to getting there. I've done 9 interviews today.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Crazy.
But it's not like it's not unbelievable because it's being done. So you guys could do it too, right? Yep. Not that I'm some superhuman whatever. Like if I'm in the gym and I think 25 push-ups is the max and I see you drop down and do 200, like, Jesus Christ. Like I thought I was at my max, and I am right now, but it's nowhere close to what's actually possible. Like this is whenever I watch an Elon Musk video or something, right? He's one of my favorites because no matter how big I'm thinking, I watch an Elon Musk video and then I realize, man, I am thinking tiny. This guy's trying to have a backup plan for the whole planet. I got to step up my game, right? And so that's why I think, especially in the field, knowing what's possible, seeing what people are doing, and using that as the kick forward, to pat yourself on the back, to say, hey, we went from 1 to 2 to 3, but if your ambitions are to go daily, it's totally possible. You just may not know how to do it yet, and it's going to require a little bit of discomfort. You got to break the muscle to rebuild it back up, but it's totally doable.
So Evan, kind of just to see what your thought is at with the way everything is shifting with tech advancements. Obviously, I think we can all agree with COVID even speeding up certain things in the digital space 5 years ahead. Where do you see content creation? Where do you see innovation going now forward in these next few years, especially somebody who's in the content world heavily and doing a lot of this? And like you said, you bunkered down and even created more. So where do you see all this shifting? And then I want to kind of get your thoughts on like what is going to be, you feel, the content that's going to be the up and coming thing that's going to really start kicking off as far as pushing value out there.
So if you're thinking content, you have to divide it between video, audio, and written word. Every platform either goes heavy on one or some combination of them, but it's always video, audio, written word. So next you go, okay, what am I good at? What do I enjoy doing? I like video. Video is fun for me. I hate audio. I listen to 0 podcasts. It's just not how I learn. I'm on a bunch of podcasts, but I don't listen to any podcast. And written word, I'm okay with. So inside those 3, now you got to think, what am I great at? And then which platforms can I really crush and dominate with? So if you like video, you have to be on YouTube. YouTube is the number one place. You're looking at 2021, 2022. It's the number one place you have to be. It's different than every other platform in that it's the only place where your content lives forever. That the videos I make today in 5 years are still going to get me views, subscribers, signups, all of it. Where your Instagram post from a week ago, what's that?
It's like real estate.
Yeah. Your Instagram post from a week ago, nobody cares about. You're irrelevant, right? So you're always on the hamster wheel. But YouTube, it's the hardest game to win, but is the most sustainable one. Also the one that pays you, right? Like you get paid. YouTube will pay you to make content, unlike every other platform. If you're in the audio world, you have to be taking Clubhouse seriously right now. Like if you have a podcast and you're not on Clubhouse, you're in jeopardy. Every podcast needs to have a Clubhouse strategy, because I'm not worried about Clubhouse taking YouTube market share. It's a different consumption pattern, but it's going to eat into podcasts for sure. Written, there hasn't been anything new. Like Medium was a thing for a while, but Medium's died down. I think if you're writing, you're still, Twitter is probably your best short form, very news, trendy, what's du jour right now, injecting your opinion. But the written word version of social media is ripe for some new platform to come in and really take over. So I'm super bullish on those right now.
No, I love that you mentioned all that, because I think it is important to understand. I think first off and first where are you strongest at, and then also depending on what you're doing, like where's your audience at hanging out in. And I think that it's one of those things where I feel like a lot of people when they're starting, they want to jump into all of them at the same time instead of focusing on like one or two where they can excel at the most and put all their energy. And then they're like, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do this one. I can't do this one. I can't do this one. And then they end up only giving 50% to the ones that they're actually really good at.
Yeah. And this is where YouTube can really be a strength, because YouTube gives you the best data on everything. So every video, if you upload this video to YouTube, you'll get the audience retention curve, which basically shows where people left the video. So if people hate certain parts, you'll see the curve drop, attention dropped. And then if they liked it, it'll be flat. Oh, this 1 minute clip, that was really good. And then every now and then there'll be this spike up. Like, how did that happen? How did we get more attention? The most likely case is people rewound to watch that part again. It's like, wait, what did he say? What was that? Let me rewind it to watch it again. If we do a 25-minute interview like this, that's a YouTube video, you look for those spikes and then you cut those 45-second clips, and that's your Instagram post. Mm-hmm. The one-liners that again give you a spike, that's your tweet. That's your Instagram picture. So you don't have to actually be creating content for every platform. You use YouTube, you get the data, see what the best moments were, not your subjective opinion or your editor's subjective opinion, but what the audience actually cared about. And then you just cut those clips to be on. That's how you can be everywhere with you guys just making 3 shows a week. Mm-hmm. One show a week, you could do it.
Right. I mean, you beat me to it. And I say this with all my clients when it comes to their nutrition, when it comes to, their training, it's like, work smarter, not harder. You don't necessarily have to be doing more to get the most out of what you're doing. Right. And to get the most benefit. And I think, you can definitely do exactly what you're saying and just take these longer format stuff and whittle them down, and then you have, content for a whole week, and you did it off of, 1 20-minute YouTube video.
Yeah. And listen, just like fitness, the best plan is the one you actually stick to.
Yeah. Consistency is the king, for sure.
I've done 10,000 plus videos. It's been 7 years since I haven't uploaded a video every single day. 11 years since I've been on the platform, 12 years, 2009 was the first video.
But you're an overnight success, Evan. You know what I mean? Like, I just looked at your Instagram and you just got all these followers overnight. Like, I could, how did you do it?
And it's also it's also the love of the game, right? Mm-hmm. One of the most common questions I get asked is, how do you deal with burnout? I'm not burnt out. I made 10,000 plus videos, but talking to you guys, this is fun.
Oh yeah.
This isn't work, even though it's kind of work hours. If you looked at my schedule, this is not me spending time with my wife or my son or doing something else. This is work, but it doesn't feel like work. This is fun. So if you're looking at your calendar and all you see is a bunch of work that you hate, then you're going to burn out. If you had me doing accounting all day long, I would burn out in 4 days. You want me to make YouTube videos and talk to people and spread a message? I'll do that for a decade and not get tired of it, right? So I think it's really important that you actually enjoy the process of the thing. You guys might they might love the idea of a podcast and, I can get so many downloads and I can get attention. This will elevate my status in my industry. But you better like talking to people. Like, it's a kind of a problem if you don't enjoy actually having conversations with people, right? If you're going to start a podcast. So actually enjoying the process is really, really important.
So Evan, since we're on the topic, I know you mentioned the whole, somebody mentioning, how do you not get burned out, right? And you're talking about how you enjoy doing this and how you have fun with it, and it's not work to you, right? But on a daily basis, just because, since we are the Sweat It Out podcast, what are some of the things that you do to stay active as a high performer? Some healthy habits that you incorporate on a daily basis?
And I know we're hitting the clock, so, super quick. Every morning I go for a walk with either my dogs, my wife, or just by myself. And if I'm by myself, I'm putting on my own videos in my ear just to fill my head with Elon or Oprah or somebody. All day long, I'm on a trampoline talking to you guys.
Love that.
All day long. We'll get 20 to 40,000 jumps a day, every day. I went through 3 trampolines last year because they're not designed for 40,000 jumps a day, every day, right? So
they don't have industrial version?
Yeah, I had to upgrade, man. You need trampoline advice, I'm your guy. Afternoon, another walk again with my wife, just getting steps. Anytime I could do an outdoor meeting, now that the weather's getting nice, or phone calls instead of being in here, just to get some physical activity in. I started a 90-day no sugar, no junk food challenge.
There we go.
I'm on day 138 of my 90-day challenge.
Woo!
Is this being recorded? Content?
On Instagram, like I give a quick update
Great.
of where I'm at. Yeah, it's just really, do your actions map to your ambitions? If you say you want to be X, whether that's in fitness, health, relationships, career, like whatever it is that you want X.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Are you doing the thing in your calendar? Are you filling your head with the right people? Just like I said, if I was hanging around you guys all the time, I'd be working out more. You'd be like, a walk, come on, let's go. We're hitting the gym. You're gonna be doing 40 pull-ups, like 40 pull-ups. I can only do like 2.5. You'll get me to 40, right? Because that's how you guys roll, and you'll suck me into your world, and I'll have you filming content the whole time.
We're at 10x.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like we got to get you to Miami.
Yeah, we gotta
Let's
get you down
go.
here for a little bit.
Hey, Evan, man, I just want to say personally, we really appreciate your time. You know,
Absolutely.
I know you're a busy individual, but you love what you do, and I think that's amazing. And I just want to say personally, thank you again, and I know Josh as well.
100%.
But before
Thank
we
you so
wrap it
much.
up, yeah, no, definitely. And before we wrap it up, I wanted to just leave off the floor to you to let people know where they can find you, connect with you, and obviously get feted with your amazing content.
Well, first off, thanks for having me, guys. Super, super fun. Love the energy. Love the vibe. What episode number are you guys at? 150?
Yeah, somewhere around
153,
150-ish,
154.
somewhere around there.
When you get to 500, I'm coming back.
All right, perfect.
Woo! Live?
So let me know when we're closing on episode
Perfect.
500.
Live in
Yeah.
Miami, we'll fly you down here.
Oh yeah, we'll bring you
Maybe.
from the 6 to the 305.
Oof.
There you go. If you're only doing 3 a week, though, it's going to take you a while to get there.
That's
So
all
we
right.
might
Maybe
have
we'll
to-
speed it up.
Yeah,
We might
maybe just
have
for
to.
you.
When you're getting close, let my assistant know. We'll make that happen.
All right, great.
No, honestly, I love your vibe. I want to see you guys win.
I appreciate that.
And I'm super pumped to see more thought leaders get into the game. Where to find me? I don't know. Evan Carmichael, every platform. I'm probably there. Looking forward to seeing you and let me know that the Sweat It Out podcast guys sent you.
Oh yeah,
Appreciate that.
appreciate it. Thank you again, Evan.
Yeah. And last
Much
and
love,
final
guys.
thing.
Thanks for having me.
Last and final thing, real quick, like I always like to end. What's the biggest piece of advice you can leave off to all our listeners today in one sentence?
Believe. Believe that it's possible. Believe that you can. Believe that it will work out. Believe that you belong. Believe, believe, believe.
That's.
Woo! Believe it, guys. Achieve it.
Thank you again, Evan. Until next time,
Much
guys.
love, guys. Take care. See you at 500.
Take care. Hell yeah.